Hallmark Christmas movies.
I'm Brian. I like Hallmark Christmas movies.
I'm Dan, and I despise Hallmark Christmas movies.
I'm Justin, and I'm just happy to be here.
And this is the Deck the Hallmark podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast.
Brandon and friends host this podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
I gotta be honest, Justin, that felt forced. It felt like
like
almost
someone's against your will.
Are you really happy to be here?
No, I'm thrilled to be here. I feel like I look forward to. I always think in my mind, I'm not going to get the call this year. Like they're done with me.
Yeah,
I'm flaky. I really am like a bad Christmas boyfriend. But you guys, you keep bringing me back, and I needed this dopamine hit earlier in the year than usual. So I'm grateful to be here right here at the top of November.
It's your 7th year in a row, Justin.
Shut up. Is it?
Yes.
That's phenomenal.
7th year in a row.
That means that we are common law Christmas married.
That's right. We're common law Christmas married.
Finally.
That's how that works.
Write that movie title down too.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Right. Who write it down?
Starring my grandmother, Beth Broderick.
That's right.
Your great grandmother.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. We are excited to talk about holiday mismatch. I said, pick your poison. You picked this poison. Why'd you pick? What about this
You
movie?
big Sabrina the Teenage Witch fan?
I have quite a storied history with both Beth Broderick and Caroline Rhea. Caroline Rhea and Beth Broderick. See how many times I can say their names. Both stars of Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which I grew up on. When I became like enamored with competition reality, before that harlot Allison Sweeney snuck in, Caroline Rhea used to host The Biggest Loser.
Oh my
God.
Beth Broderick, Kate Austin's mom on Lost, which I'm currently in the middle of a rewatch of. These women, I feel like I might know them, nay, love them more than my own mother.
Oh,
that's not true. Sorry, Kat.
Wow.
But no, I love them. I think they're great. So I was jazzed when it was between this one and the one that like is painfully forcing the Chiefs into everything.
What?
So I'm grateful that you guys let me tag along for this one.
Yeah. Also, though, Justin, a couple things there. Allison Sweeney's a harlot. That's Justin's words, not ours. But
do you not represent the thoughts of Deck the Hallmark?
He's just a guest and also someone on the network.
That's right. He's on the network. He's done a Bramble Jam podcast. It's a whole two, in fact. Go ahead.
Let me clear the air on the Allison Sweeney slander for a second.
It's been a very heated minute since you said that. So yeah, I'd like for you to go ahead and.
I worshipped at the altar of Sammy Brady on Days of Our Lives between the years of 1999 and like 2004. So when this is like internet slang, that's harlot in parentheses complimentary.
Yes, complimentary harlot. I did see them live.
Don't get it twisted.
That's right. Justin, you are currently on a Bramble Jam podcast still ongoing. It's called John Dutton Must Die.
Hot.
We
check that feed.
The latest episodes have been the reviews are off the charts.
Yeah.
What has been your favorite part of the episodes over the past year?
Have you done one this year?
No.
I feel like this episode is getting as tense as Holiday Mismatch, but we'll get into that in a second. Yeah, if you guys have caught up on all the Yellowstone episodes over the past year, you'll know that there hasn't been one. But they're wrapping it up. And it turns out, Dan, you and I kind of predicted this.
We did.
I did.
John Dutton Must Die, and spoiler alert, he's not in the final episodes. And I don't think he went on like a Eat, Pray, Love kind of retreat.
No. He's dead somewhere, right? He's dead on the ranch. They buried him in the ranch.
Obviously,
on the ranch,
They buried him.
Yeah.
Maybe alive.
Justin, this is a lot of fun, and we know you listen to every episode of Deck the Hallmark. It's your favorite show, and all that stuff.
Blah.
So you know about our card game, Christmas Movie Magic.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna let you explain it, and like let everybody know why they should pick up a copy of Christmas Movie Magic.
Christmas Movie Magic, the card game that you play while watching the movies.
Yeah. So
wow.
you go ahead.
Earning
you go
points
ahead.
and such.
Because I know you have your copy you've been playing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Every week.
Yeah. Every single episode, I have a couple copies so that I can give them out to family. All right, let me start like this. Have you ever done tarot? It's kind of like that, but take out all of the witchy elements, keep all of the fun. If you are a fan of Christmas movies of this genre, particularly those on Hallmark, it is something that you should own. After a couple of glasses of mulled wine, or wassail, as you might call it, you whip this out. It's gonna entertain your friends and family for days. I'm not going to describe it to you because learning how to play the game is half the fun.
It is half the fun. You're right. Yeah.
Be sure and get a deck so that you can deck the Hallmark even when the episodes have run out.
Wow. And
he's good.
That is good. And that's deckthehallmark.com/game.
That's right.
Correct?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's the harlot of the Christmas movie.
Yeah.
card
Allison
games.
Sweeney as a harlot is one of the cards in the deck, from what I understand.
That's one of the ones that carried over from the tarot cards.
Allison and I, Allie, as I call her sometimes,
Of course.
we were playing the game last night.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Man.
Honestly, you did a great job. Christmas Movie Magic out now, deckthehallmark.com/game. It's the perfect game to play while you're watching these movies, including Holiday Mismatch, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Are we ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
It originally premiered on the Hallmark Channel on November 3rd, 2024, and it went a little something like this. Barbara is a newly retiree and is really into keeping the house clean. That's what she's focusing on right now. She needs herself a project. She decides to join a Christmas committee. The meeting is supposed to start at 9 a.m., but when she arrives, no one is there. 10 minutes later, the group leader, Kath, shows up and says, oh, yeah, it's a flexible 9, which is how I think we should all live our lives a little bit. The rest of the committee arrives,
You think
and
we should live our lives that way? That was a weird
Soft
for
9.
you.
Yeah, I guess I don't agree with that.
Very weird from you.
it's a soft 9.
Weird place for you to be.
I aspire to be like
To be
that.
more flexible.
Yeah.
And
Unfortunately, no can do.
and everybody in this committee, there is quite the character. Barbara is clearly annoyed by this fly-by-night committee. When the opportunity arises for her to head up the committee budget, she jumps at it, but she's shocked to discover that Kath has just been keeping the receipts in a literal shoebox. But she has been keeping them in
Chronological
order.
Absolutely.
So really, what's to be shocked
no
at
big
here? It's
deal.
actually really good.
Pretty helpful.
We meet Barbara's son, Shane. She thinks that he is lonely.
Lonely.
Where is it?
Where's it?
You lost it.
Here it is. She thinks he's lonely. Oh, you can't hear it with that. It's a little bit.
That's fine.
It's okay.
It's not worth
It's
it.
there. We'll play it later, everybody.
It's really funny.
I can't
Trust
stop.
us.
Okay, great.
There we go.
She's lonely. He's lonely, and so she wants to find him a
Things are
date.
going great.
Wants to find a date
fun.
for the holidays using an app called Holiday Matchmaker, which she signs him up for without his approval, which is apparently like the whole point of the app, if I'm understanding it correctly. You sign your friends and family up for this app. Then we meet Kath's daughter, Lauren, and wouldn't you know it, her mom also signed her up for the same dating app. They end up getting paired together. Lauren and Shane meet for coffee, but it doesn't start well when Shane overhears Lauren talking about going on a dumb old a stupid blind date.
Blind date.
book.
That's right. However, they end up hitting it off while discussing their mothers and how their moms are both overbearing. Shane tells Lauren that he plans to sell his theater business, but he's feeling super stressed about it. So to keep their mothers off their backs this holiday season, they agree to pretend to date for the holidays. Unfortunately, both moms want to meet their children's special someone. They decide to meet up at a Christmas festival, and they're both clearly disappointed that their kids have ended up together with each other. You get it. They don't like each other, and they're bummed. They conclude that the only logical thing for these two to do is to sabotage the relationship, Beastie Boys style. So Barbara and Kath quickly devise a plan to break them up. After learning that Shane isn't very handy, Kath has an idea. Invite him to help pick out a Christmas tree with her and Lauren, forcing Shane to figure out how to put a tree on a car by himself. However, the plan backfires when Shane and Lauren work together and they end up failing together. And everyone knows a couple that fails together stays together. I think that's the saying.
That's it.
When they finally get the tree home, they discover there's a rat inside. Shane is terrified of the rat, but Kath asks him to get it out. Get it out!
Get it.
And he does it, which impresses Lauren. Plan failed. Next, Barbara comes up with another idea. Invite Lauren to one of Shane's shows. That'll do the trick. But also, she hopes that Shane will be upset if he thinks that she is pushing Lauren and the relationship to work. Plus, Lauren has bad stage fright, and so when Shane invites her on stage for this super normal improv Christmas carol, Barbara is excited, but to her surprise, Lauren ends up having fun and is really impressed with the show. That makes one of us. When their plans don't work, Barbara climbs through a window to convince the volunteer playing Santa to come out after he locks himself in a room because he's scared. Kath and Barbara realize, hey, we work pretty well together. You know, you helping me get up that window and then us talking about it. Maybe we should work together instead of working separately. And so they come up with an idea. And basically the idea is, what if we all come together and we act like one big happy family, and then they will be like, oh, you guys are going to get married one day, and that'll freak them out and they'll break up. However, they notice that Shane and Lauren might actually be good for each other. Lauren encourages Shane to go all in on the theater. It's a bad idea, man. And he tells her to step out of her comfort zone. While on a trolley singing Christmas carols, Dan's worst nightmare, Shane and Lauren both admit that they're actually falling for each other, and they agree to go to the Christmas ball together. Barbara finds out that the relationship is fake, but assumes it's a one-sided fake to get off Shane's back. She tells Kath, who gets really mad and tells Lauren that she should break things off with Shane because he's a really bad guy. At the ball, everything comes to a head when Barbara and Kath confront Lauren and Shane about the fake relationship. Lauren freaks out and ends things with Shane due to all of the drama. Barbara and Kath start arguing at the ball, and Barbara quits the committee. Barbara's husband, who I can only imagine hates being alone with her, encourages her to fix things with Kath and get the heck out of the house. They make up and decide to work together to get Shane and Lauren back together. Kath shows up at Lauren's work to apologize for meddling, and Barbara does the same with Shane. Lauren and Shane decide to give their relationship another chance, and they kiss. And the families then spend Christmas together, which once again, for the second time this week, seems a little fast. They kiss and they sing some more songs, and that, my friends, was Holiday Mismatch.
We did it.
We did do it. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll break this movie down a little bit more with Justin Kirkland here on Deck the Hallmark. Uh-huh.
Bless you.
Cough. No?
You know what's great?
Didn't hit him.
You know what's great about having Justin Kirkland on the show is how he just really puts on a show. He made a face. He did a thing. For people that are watching on Philo, they really get a show with you.
If you're not, you're missing out.
Yeah. I've always said,
whoa, those hands.
you got a face for TV. That stash isn't hurting anything.
No, come on.
Thank you for that. I would like to say that it's something I didn't know, but I too call myself a flexible 9. So, yeah, you're welcome, Philo.
Let's get to the hot take. It's where we share exactly how we felt about this movie. We do not hold back. Brian, final movie of the weekend. First movie in your heart. Let's find out. What do you think about this movie?
Yeah, Holiday Mismatch.
That one. That's the one we're going to do right now. Yes.
I'm going to do it. I liked it. This is a good weekend for me, for these movies.
I feel like you've said I liked it for 3 of them.
I think I've said it all season long so far, Dan.
I liked it.
I feel like I'm just doing the repeater over here, but the movies have been good. There's nothing I can do. This was pretty funny. Like, this is a fun premise. This was like a little more layered than we usually get. I feel like we got the fake relationship. The mothers are meddling. They're trying to break them up. They're trying to get them together. I thought that was really fun, and it was really funny. Like there were some really funny moments. Caroline Rhea just stood out in this movie not above everybody. Everybody was really good, but she just carried this movie, and it was so strong. I feel like I would have appreciated a little more details on the budget. Again, I feel like stop me if you've heard this week already. A little more. The budget was a big concern here.
I just wish there were more spreadsheets on the screen.
What's the problem with the budget? Like she's so all about the budget. ABC all about that budget.
Yep.
What's wrong with the budget?
Always be budgeting.
I love ABC always be budgeting. And brother Aiden, Mama's Boy of the Week, obviously.
Yeah.
Just tattling on his brother.
That's tough.
Can't stand
So
that.
messed up.
Come
Can
on,
we
man.
really
Come
quickly
on.
talk
What are we
about
doing?
Unbelievable.
how he's the absolute worst brother? I had nothing
Unbelievable.
but positive things to say about Aiden, and then he comes up and he fesses up
Just
and
out
he
of
gives
nowhere.
him
The worst thing imaginable.
That was messed up, right,
Oh.
Justin?
No, it was exactly what he had coming to him. I know this is a spicy take, but like, don't trust a homosexual with your secrets. I say it as one myself.
That's
Like,
a flexible 9, you know.
It's, as a flexible 9 and a known homosexual, don't tell me a secret. I'm just gonna go and run. So as soon as that came out of his mouth, I looked over at my husband. I was like, "Oh, he's gonna pay for that one." And
man.
like a snap later, he was like, "Mom, I got to tell you something. I can't tell you." "Okay, I'll tell you."
That's
Wait, what the heck was that?
yeah.
He showed up and was like,
It's not like he even came up in conversation. He just rolled in
he
to
was like,
tell
"It's
him.
crazy this situation that's going on with a guy
Don't
right
make me
now."
tell you.
Oh, you don't know about the situation? I couldn't. I must. It was the
Beth
worst.
Broderick Beth was like, "What do you want for dinner?" And he was like, "I'm not really sure. Your son's a liar." And it's like, no, you got there real
man.
quick.
I would have bought it more if she sort of made it feel like he was the mama's boy. If she were like set this up a little bit ahead of time.
Ahead
Ahead of
hand.
hand. That this is what he did, and this was like their relationship.
Yeah,
that he
I think that's the
but
thing.
it came
like,
out of nowhere.
I just think that once you become an adult, there's like if you're not good at keeping secrets, that's fine. But between siblings, there's something there, an unbreakable bond.
That's coming back to you. Like
it can't. You can't just cut.
No.
And he didn't tell off his brother at all. We never
You're
got
right.
the conversation where he
No.
was like, "Hey man,
Yeah, what's
what
up with
gives,
that?
bro?" It's messed up. That's all I'm saying.
totally messed up.
Justin, what do you think about the movie?
So I enjoyed it. It was wildly tense, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Am I just like in a weird space, or was there like a lot of tension in this film? First off, none of these people have good, healthy relationships.
No.
I feel like that was dicey to begin with. Like tattling, all jokes and secrets aside, like if you have a secret, keep it. But I feel like nobody had anybody's best interest in this film. And there was a lot of tension. So I wouldn't say it was my favorite. I watched it to relax, and I think I got a little amped up alongside him. There was a lot going on.
I agree with you, Justin. This is not the worst movie of the season, but it is my least favorite of the season because of that very reason. It wasn't an enjoyable watch. It was stressful. I don't like the meddling parents trope, and this is, I think, as egregious of a meddling mom trope that as we've seen. And I realized pretty quickly I don't like it. It doesn't make me feel good. I don't find it particularly funny. And the only saving grace of this movie is I did like the couple. When they were together, and albeit they only have a few actual conversations that we get to see in this movie, but I thought they had chemistry and I liked them together. Was it fun to see Caroline Rhea and Beth Broderick back together? I guess, but I guess I just wish that it was in a different way. I wish maybe they were sisters and they were having a story like, I don't know. I just didn't like the meddling mom thing. It just didn't do it for me. It didn't make me feel good. And even with the Hallmark Christmas movies that end up being sad, I at least walk away being like, okay, that still worked for me. This one, it was messy and it was icky. And I know that Alonzo loves a dysfunctional family, and I could go either way on it, depending on the movie. But when it's dysfunctional and the dysfunction leads to just the parents meddling, it didn't make me feel good. And so unfortunately it is my least favorite of the season. I'm sorry, Dano.
I'm not sorry. This is a bad movie. Look, it's not as out and out bad as the Austrian movie. I think we can all agree on that. But I do think that the expectations here do damage the movie, because the expectations are Caroline Rhea and Beth Broderick, comedy hijinks to follow, and they just don't follow. Like, the idea of this movie is really good, but instead of getting a funny movie, instead we get a movie where for most of the movie, it's either people being really terrible to their relatives and their friends, or it's people explaining the plot of the movie. Like, there are so many resets in this movie. It's like, we're going to fake like we're a couple so our moms get off our backs. And then the moms are like, we got to break them up. And the moms are like, we got to get them together. I felt like every third scene was, let me remind you, the viewer, where we are in this farce so that we can keep it moving. I didn't care about
fart.
No, I didn't say fart. If you can believe it, I said farce.
What if you did?
What if I did though? It'd be really funny.
Oh man.
I think Caroline Rhea was really, really fun and funny in this movie, but the movie does everyone in it a disservice. And there's just too much going on, and none of it's really funny. And instead, as Justin pointed out, it plays kind of tense and uncomfortable, and not in a funny way. It just isn't a good movie. And I think if it was all stars we didn't know, then it would be this low middle of the pack. But because it's a reunion of Sabrina the Teenage Witch and all this other stuff, it kind of hurts the movie. I think aside from the Austrian movie and some of the ones over the summer, this is the worst of the year. I was really disappointed by this.
It's time for all the feels, where we talk about what this movie gave us feels, Brian.
Yeah,
Brian.
I liked Brian. Thanks, Brian. When Shane and Lauren decide they're going to do the fake relationship, they start kind of pointing out all the reasons that they won't work, the things they don't like, and I thought that was really great. Like they're being very like open and honest with each other, and they're themselves like from the start. And so I thought that was a really great way to start off a relationship, especially starting with a fake relationship. It makes it a really easy segue into like a real full-blown relationship, because you already know, like, you actually genuinely like that person. They were honest with you. They weren't trying to impress you. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
Thank you.
Justin,
That'll be $20.
any feels for you?
Yeah. I feel like I want to kind of step back a little bit, because I feel like we're being very hard on this film. And I would like to reference I think it's a Mr. Rogers quote, when there's like problems, look for the helpers.
Mm-hmm.
And when you come across a movie that makes you feel like this, you gotta look for the helpers. So one of my all the feels was at the end. I don't know if you guys caught it, but they were talking about like being out in the sun or something. And I think it's Caroline Rhea looks at Beth Broderick and goes, "What are you, a witch?"
Yeah.
And I was
classic.
like, uh-oh, coming straight for my heart there. And I want to tell you a short anecdote that will only take 20 minutes. When I was growing up, I desperately begged my parents for 3 gifts. One was a Skip It, never got it. One was a Sky Dancer, because you can launch that woman like 8,000 feet in the air. If you guys have ever played with Sky Dancer. It's the dream. Today, you know where I want to go? 8,000 feet in the air. Just
That's right.
launch.
Yeah.
Just launch
Of course,
me up
after the
there.
podcast. The other one was the very important Easy Bake Oven. So when Caroline Rhea's talking about like, I too wanted an Easy Bake Oven as a child, and then Barbara, despite their differences, gets it for her, I was like, you're coming for my feelings, and I love it.
That was a good
And then I went and I baked muffins right after.
Wow.
What kind of muffins?
Yeah.
Tiny
I
little
lied.
ones.
I didn't even bake
Oh,
muffins.
come on. Cooking with
God,
Justin,
all you had to do
everybody.
is tell the truth, Justin.
This movie's online.
Yeah.
So
Did you ever make little tiny muffins though, like in your life?
This is the reason that I asked what kind of muffins is Justin has an Instagram account called Cooking with Justin.
That's
that
right.
you
It
should
does.
follow. He's making some world-class food. At least the pictures are world-class. I mean, they're like
They look
the food
Photoshopped,
looks
but yeah, they look
amazing,
great.
and Justin's really good at it. So if he tells me he made muffins, there's gonna be a follow-up.
100%.
No lies. This year, I've been dabbling with a chocolate chip bourbon muffin recipe.
Yeah. I like that.
And that's the one. And I've found really
What we gotta do
the
to get
trick.
down here and make that? What we gonna do? We can bring you down.
Well, The trick of it is that instead of putting the bourbon just in the muffins, I do like full on like shot of bourbon in the glaze.
In the glaze. Okay.
And then you dip it in.
Yeah.
And then I just drink from the bottle after that. But that's
obviously.
No, I'll be down in Greenville in a couple minutes. I'll whip some of those up for you guys.
How about that? I was going to ask you when you're coming to Greenville, because you came last year
for Fall for Greenville.
And
That's right.
And if memory serves, you absolutely loved it. So
loved it.
What's the holdup? What do we got? I mean, what do we got to do to get you down here?
I'm torn between the throes of my big city job,
right,
and the ideal of falling in love in a smaller town, and just trying to find someone that'll keep me there. So again, I'm looking directly into my camera at Dan.
Hey, the muffins are going to play a big part in this, Justin. That's all I'm saying.
For all of us.
Like, you can't be lying about muffins.
Well, I think part of the problem,
and then try to come from my heart.
Yes.
There's nothing you're lying about muffins.
I'll tell you this: an easy bake oven shows up at my door, I will know that the invitation is more than open.
Yeah. But also, your husband didn't come to Greenville with you.
Yeah,
that's true.
No, we did not.
So I think that I don't know.
We're also still chasing the high of how Greenville was described when Christmas is in full effect.
Yeah,
because you guys have like a little ice skating rink that pops up, like downtown just kind of becomes this wonderland. So I want to see that.
All right, we'll make it happen.
Justin's
and
you'll
you'll bring the muffins.
You heard it.
It'll be a lot of fun. That would be a pretty good vlog. Us you coming down for Christmas and us showing you the city. I think it'd be pretty good.
I promise, no lies. I will bring the muffins.
I love that.
Oh, he's not lying, guys.
I have two feels. One, it was mentioned in the chat, but Caroline Ray's cardigan game in this movie was on point. I noticed it. I saw you, and I really liked it. But two, there was a scene where Caroline Ray helps Beth Broderick go through a tiny window above a door, and
was a riot.
Was it necessary?
A riot.
Was it necessary? No, it was not. But it happened, and I loved it. I loved that moment. It made me very happy because I kind of in the midst of it happening forgot why it was happening.
Yeah,
I forgot about the Santa.
That's right,
because it takes a little bit.
It does,
and then by the time
when somebody's in there, I was like, why didn't they just knock on the door?
I forgot.
Same thing.
It's to say, it happened. They did it. It just took so long, and that's how you know it's a good comedy bit. If you get to the end of the bit and you forgot why you started in the first place. Ain't that the dream? That's why we started this show, baby. Really enjoyed that moment. Dano?
You mentioned it in your hot take, but for all of that this movie does wrong, I thought that the couple that is getting together throughout this movie, I thought they were pretty okay. Like, I thought that if they would have had more time together and it would have been a more straightforward movie, I don't know that it would have been as bad as it was. It's weird to say that out loud, that the Caroline Ray, Beth Broderick of it all is the part that doesn't work. But I thought that the couple who were C and D on the call sheet, I thought they were bad. So it's high praise.
There you go. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get to the way one, the what, the Hallmark. Here on
Take the Hallmark.
Welcome back, everybody. It is it's Deck the Hallmark. It's
Really?
Thursday.
Is that what we're doing?
By the way, I got word we made the announcement about who won the election yesterday.
Yesterday, we
apparently
did.
people didn't hear that.
Didn't hear it. So you want to do it again today at the end?
Well, I mean,
if we have time,
we could let Justin do the honors, but I don't know. This is pretty stressful stuff.
Yeah.
This is pretty stressful.
He doesn't like the stressful ones.
Yeah.
So.
Can you, when you found out that they gave us the information for us to make the announcement about who won the election, that was pretty shocking.
That was a lot.
It's a
wasn't
big
it?
get for us.
Yeah.
Justin's like,
Yeah, I was stunned.
Yeah, I think we all were. Well, because it's not typically our lane,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah.
Try to stay
and
out
we
of
fumbled
actually.
it, and now we know why.
That's right, yeah.
Now we
Never
know why
again.
it's not our.
Never
yeah,
forget.
It's not our place.
Yeah, they'll announce the winner of the election at the end of the Deck the Hallmark episode.
Yes.
On Wednesday morning.
Tune in. Let's get to the way what
This
is
is the
where
dumbest
we
thing we've ever done.
it's where we talk about what in this movie made us go, wait, what? Brian?
Yep. The Joe's architecture firm with her friend they got to implement some change request process because this is ridiculous. You cannot show up at somebody's desk. Oh, the client called. They want this. It's like you have a process. Software does this. They've been doing this for years. You just can't. There's paperwork. You got to do that. You can't just willy-nilly have changes.
Brian is like paperwork's lawyer. Brian
keep paper
is
in the
here
game.
to advocate
On behalf of paperwork everywhere.
Anything that needs to be documented.
If
If you need to document it, I'm
says
for
they can
it.
do something without a paper trail.
Get a
Brian
document.
Harold says, not on my MF and watch.
Wow.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Brian.
People win every time. That wasn't. We know that wasn't an improv show.
No.
Just for the record.
No. Can
gotta
we just do this as a segment?
Yeah.
An improv Christmas Carol.
Come on.
Guys,
A
are we
disaster.
trying to
even
make
close.
the worst thing in the world? Is that what we're
was
trying to
tough.
do?
Listen, we have some good.
We have a lot of fun here at Deck the
We have a
Hallmark.
lot of good
Listen,
theater in Greenville.
yeah.
I do think in New York, you could go into any back room of a coffee shop and see some weird thing going
Yeah.
on. Have you ever witnessed this, Justin? An improv
Have you ever
Christmas
gone
Carol?
into a back room of a coffee shop and witnessed some great improv?
I've been the weird thing going on in the back room of a coffee. Is that appropriate to say?
You said it.
No, I've been married 5 months now, so I might be ending this prematurely. But
Uh-oh.
my husband did improv, and that was one of the most difficult things for me to overcome.
And that's why we
When-
brought you on
when
here
we
today.
were
Premarital
Actually,
counseling, that was a big topic, huh?
When we were locking this down, so yeah,
Well, when the
I do
counselor
feel like
said, held out a hat and
That's
said,
right. Yeah,
"Take
that's
the
right.
thing, you got to work
I need
it
an
into-"
occupation.
It was a mess.
I do feel like one element of improv that they really got right in the film is that I didn't want to see that.
Yeah.
And
so cringy. Yeah.
Yes.
that worked. But I mean, the whole idea behind improv is yes and I feel like when you start with a Christmas Carol improv, you were already stopping that immediately.
Yeah. That's a full
yeah,
stop.
because it's a
no.
story. It's a story
told-
we
fully
know.
told
But
story.
also, it's like,
And valor.
do you think Christmas Carol is underrepresented in these movies? You could have chosen any. I
Even
hear
if
about
it's
Christmas
just-
Carol 100 times a year.
Even if it was just a Christmas improv show, the fact that
Yeah.
it was a play with an improv element was
You-
wild.
Mad
But,
Libs.
but the idea of improv is to stay as far away as possible from things people can quote. Like, why would you do something that is so famous?
Yeah.
That's stupid. Like, why would you do that and improv off of that? Like, you're like, you know how we have like a 10% laugh rate with improv? What if we make it way harder? what if we took 10 of that 10?
Yeah.
What if we make it 1%?
Yep.
What if there's just no chance of laughter?
Yeah.
What if we
You're
do
not
that?
here for laughs.
Even Colin Mockery and Ryan Stiles
They
would
couldn't
struggle
pull it
with
off.
this. They
No.
struggle with
Wayne
it.
Brady wouldn't have a chance. I said what I said.
Wayne
I said
Brady
what I said.
would bring in the piano player
That's
and
right.
say, play it, I'll do a thing.
Lauren Stiles? What was her
No,
name?
it's not
Lauren
Lauren.
Stiles. Lauren
what is it?
Murphy?
Lauren
Hall. That's Laura Hall. Laura Hall. God bless you, Laura Hall.
Do you
knew
have
your
anything
name.
else? Or you
Yeah,
good?
at the real estate office,
Yeah.
they're just manually signing all the Christmas cards, and I just got a chuckle out of that, thinking Aaron coming around to everybody's desk with all the Christmas cards. Hey Dan, you sign this?
Yeah.
You sign this? A stack of 400 cards.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's it for me.
Justin, anyway, what's for you while you were watching this movie?
I was so worried that both of mine were going to get taken, and somehow
There aren't
they
many
did
in this
not
movie.
immediately.
Yeah.
The first one, and I don't know if this was just a throwaway line that everybody else missed, but when they went on their first date, Shane and Laura,
Lauren.
Laura Hall. Yes.
Laura, yeah, Laura Hall, yeah. And he goes, "What drew you to architecture?" And she just goes, "The permanence." Okay. Like, what really draws you to architecture? The way that the bricks are just staying there.
Yeah, the
Like,
buildings.
what?
Things don't
That's
move.
literally.
I
He
love
asked you
when
what
things don't
drew
move.
you. He asked you what drew you to architecture, not what what are the basic tenets of it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it just like hangs out there. So literally, we had to pause the movie because I walked around like a big a-hole in our living room, going, "What do you love about architecture? The way the bricks stay." And like the bit was really funny for like
Yeah.
2 minutes, but unfortunately, I did it for like 12.
Yeah.
Oh,
As you
you're-
should.
And yeah,
Which is
So
really
I didn't do
insensitive to your
that.
husband who you made stop improv. This
Yeah.
is really
That's right.
insensitive.
Yeah.
There's a reason I don't do the improv. I just make fun of it. The other one that really threw me was what the F happened to Santa Claus
Yeah.
when he like locked himself away. Like holiday
Yeah.
season can be difficult, which is why we love to throw ourselves into these films because it's removing ourselves from that world. But that man was not well.
No.
He was like, I can't do it anymore. And I'm like, he had a bomb strapped to his chest, if I remember correctly. And I was like, this is a bad situation. But yeah, I just felt like that kind of added to the unnecessary gravity that this movie had sometimes.
It's the most unearned scene maybe in the history of Hallmark movies. Have you seen this guy the rest of the movie in his joyful cardigans jumping around all movie?
Yeah.
It was wild.
And Caroline Ray's like, oh, well, would you like a hug? Do you think that Santa Claus locked himself in a room and for whatever reason that he's spiraling for and a hug's going to bring him back? Aunt Zelda? I don't think so. Sorry, Aunt Hilda?
Yeah, get it
I don't
right,
think
please.
so. Like, yeah. Original host of The Biggest Loser, Caroline Ray?
Not that harlot Allie Sweeney.
in the best way.
Not that harlot Allie Sweeney?
Yes.
Which is a compliment.
Complimentary harlot.
Yeah, complimentary. Both of those threw me. I was like, guys, what are we doing? Like, let's keep it in reality. Let's keep it permanent.
Right.
Permanent.
Like architecture.
Towards the end of the movie when they're at the ball and someone is talking to Lauren. I think it was her mom or one of the moms, and they say, "Oh yeah, he's selling to theater," and she's like, "He's selling to theater," and he's walking up, and he's like,
"Hey, what's up?"
And he couldn't have been a foot away from them as they're having this conversation, but somehow he doesn't hear it, and he's just like, what? Like, how did he not hear them talking about him in the theater? He's just totally just like, oh, you're talking about me? Oh no, what are you guys talking about?
What'd you guys say?
He most definitely heard them talking about him. I don't believe it for a second. Dano?
Justin did mention the Santa scene where this guy's having an existential crisis. And there's a bushel barrel of wait what's in that scene alone. But the biggest one for
Would
me
you
is...
hide it under?
No.
Okay.
Let it shine, man. Are you kidding me right now?
Right.
The audacity you even asked
Sorry,
that
that's
question.
a stupid question.
The biggest wait what of that scene for me is this movie makes a pretty legitimate case why Santa shouldn't exist in a Hallmark Christmas movie. Like why they did that, I don't know, but they make a legitimate case that Santa leaves kids with expectations that aren't fulfilled and ruins Christmas for them. And they do it with a completely straight face. And the whole time I was watching the scene, I was just like, where's the humor? Like, when are we going to get to the funny, ha, just kidding of it all? And it never shows up. They just stick with that. They're just like, yeah, Santa could really be problematic, which is a weird thing to say.
Do you think they were trying to highlight the ever shrinking middle class in America?
I think they should have been. You know what I mean?
They leaned into the intensity and they were like, what if we offered some real commentary here? I'm really trying to give this film as much credit as I can.
I bet on every page of this script was think of the shrinking middle class in America. I think that's what they were really trying to do here. Beth Broderick is coy about how long she was accountant for literally no reason. Like, she's retired and they're like, you were the head of accounting here for how many years? And she goes, I'd prefer not to say. Why not? Why not? It doesn't.
Private lady.
That has nothing to do with how old you're retired. Mm-hmm. Like, make up a number. Like, it doesn't.
400 years.
400 years. Yeah. If there was that, then you wouldn't, because then you would be immortal, and then you would not want to let anybody know.
Follow-up question. How?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Maybe then you shouldn't. Also in this movie, Beth Broderick, I thought she might be immortal or hundreds of years old, because she says, but what do you do when life throws you a curveballs? Plural. And I couldn't believe she said it, but she said, what happens when life throws you a curveballs? But plural. And I don't, there was some.
Can I ask you this though?
Yeah.
Have you considered it?
I've not.
About what happens if life does throw you curveballs?
I don't know. I don't know what to even do there.
Exactly.
You swing away.
Yeah. The biggest one for me though in this movie is Caroline Ray's talking about how she, was in search of something. And then this woman who she doesn't like, who works for the Chamber of Commerce, gave her this job, and it's her job and she needs a job. And somewhere in that speech, I realized that this small town has a Christmas committee that is a full-time job for a chairman. And I couldn't get past it the rest of the way. This woman gets a full-time salary to be the head of the Christmas committee of the city's Chamber of Commerce.
I think it's all events.
It's all events?
I think because they talked about Valentine's Day, which I assume she would be doing.
This woman, once again, we can look at Greenville's Chamber of Commerce, which is a bigger city than this one, I believe. This woman has a full-time salary, and her job is the head of the committee for holiday planning?
I think so.
Man.
Yeah.
What a life.
Yep.
What a time to be alive. Love it for her.
Yolanda can't do it all.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true. Do you want Yolanda? Yolanda couldn't throw this party. She's not.
There's no.
You need a Kath. You need a Kath.
100%.
Gotta have a Kath.
That's what makes Yolanda great at her job. She knows.
She knows her weaknesses. That's right. That's right.
I respected Yolanda. I respected Yolanda from the sidelines as well, like clocking them fighting in the middle of the party and coming over and being like, "This is neither the place nor the time, ladies.
Yeah,
like let's shut this down."
Yolanda.
Yeah,
I love how Yolanda is kind of the villain throughout the movie, and then she's the voice of reason at the party. She's like, "Hey, listen, I know you all hate me, but here's some wisdom." It's time for What the Hallmark is, where we wonder what could have been. Maybe get some clarity. Any questions that we still have? What are we still wondering about? We want some answers to. Brian?
It's funny, on Yolanda, one of my questions was immediately upon meeting Barbara, she hugged her. And I just didn't feel like Yolanda was a hugger.
Oh, wow.
As a first, I just met you, I'm going to hug you. And I don't think she hugged anybody else. Maybe she didn't meet anybody else the whole movie, but is Yolanda a hugger? I just did not get that vibe from her.
Didn't get a hugger vibe.
Not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Justin, you got to
follow that.
Can you top that?
Can you top that?
Did I take yours? I'm sorry.
No. I don't know how appropriate this conversation is to have, but I'm going to have it anyway.
Yeah.
I looked up John McLaren, who played Shane.
Yeah.
And he is a storied actor in this genre. But I was a little surprised because I texted you this last night, Dan.
Oh my gosh, I was laughing so hard.
I really thought about 20 minutes into the movie, the big twist was going to be that he's like, bah. And for those who can't see, I just kind of dropped my hand a little bit into this, because I texted Dan. I sent him.
That's great.
I sent a photo of a bent wrist, and I was like, is our lead supposed to be, And I was really stunned because then the gay brother shows up, and I'm like, all right, so she's woke, she's progressive, if you will. So that. There's no reason for him to be in the closet. And then I had to make peace at about 2/3 of the way through the movie when I saw that it was ending. This man's not going to be gay. But I thought he was a member of the tribe. So I was a little confused, and I would be interested in another life of kind of what that looks like. Because the man owns a theater company. I'm not saying you can't be straight and dabble in the arts. George Clooney's made a whole life out of it, and he's but I don't know. I just feel like I should stop talking now. Anyway.
Hey, you're the only one of us that could really have had this conversation.
Well, I'll just say that since you took mine, I
showed both of these guys that text because I had to, I was watching a different movie because we recorded more than one today, if you can believe it. And I had to pause the movie. I was laughing so hard. I was like, I don't know about this yet. I've not watched it, but Justin has some thoughts, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, I was stunned.
Yeah.
So I'll ask you this: who do you think is going to win Survivor this season?
Oh God. Originally, going into it because he was the only one that was shown, I thought it was going to be John Lovett.
I think we all.
But
yeah, I'm a week behind.
He's first. He's first out. You know who I want to pull it out? Sue, 45-year-old Sue.
She's still left, huh?
Sue's still hanging in there.
Wow.
Give me Saul. Give me Saul for the win.
I like Saul.
Give me Saul for
I
the
like Saul.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Saul's
the best.
so solid.
And I know you just said you're a week behind, but this episode is heavy on Saul, and we're all better for it.
Okay. He's not a flexible 9. You know what I'm saying?
He's a solid 9.
He's a solid solid 9.
I also think keep an eye on Miss Genevieve. She's she's out there doing it.
Yeah, she's up to no good. I know that much.
Started
Dan,
making trouble in the neighborhood. There's a scene in this movie where the brothers like, hey, they up the offer for the theater, and they're like, well, maybe I should take it. They never say a specific number.
Of course not.
To you. Of course
So
not.
frustrating.
And then the brothers like, basically, you could buy a house, or you could travel the world twice.
Twice over, yeah.
And I don't like.
How much do you think that? 500.
So that's why it's what Hallmark is. I looked up how much it would cost.
it sent Dan down a trail.
I couldn't because I'm like, these are two things that aren't related.
No.
Like buy a house, that could be an indeterminate
What kind of
amount of money. Travel the world. What does that even mean? Like travel the world
by
twice.
ship?
Like I looked up a bunch of numbers, but the short version is like reasonably for $5,000 a month, which I found really hard to believe. I thought it would be way more than that. I don't think I could do it for $5,000 a month. Like just like going all these places and staying. Like I'm not going to stay in a hostel. You know what I mean? Like
No.
I just.
Your needs?
It's a weird thing that these were the we've got money. We've got money. What are the things you could do with that money? Well, I've got two options for you. You could buy a house.
Buy a cattle farm.
What do you think?
You could travel the world not once, but twice. You could travel there once and put a down payment on a house. No.
He said buy a
travel
house.
it twice or buy a house.
The number that I had in mind was $300,000. That was a number that came to mind.
Starting.
So $150K for one trip around the world.
That's what I got out of that. Yeah.
The right way. If you're doing it right.
For doing it the right way.
Yeah, 12 and some change, 12K and some change a month.
Yeah. You could do that.
But
right?
why are these the two options? Why are these the two options?
all you can do.
How about just say you're going to make $300,000?
Yeah.
Why do this thing where it's like, well, I mean, you could buy a house or travel the world twice. I think we all know how much money that is.
Yeah, everybody
right?
knows those.
We all know. We don't have to say it. We all know how much money that is.
How much would we have to pay you to travel around the world? For
Like $12, $13.
Okay, yeah.
Total.
Yeah, everything else is paid for. Yeah.
Well, and
No big
as
deal.
somebody who did see one of their plays, I think $12 or $13 is a fair offer.
Hey, Justin, since we've got you, you grew up in East Tennessee. I grew up in Hopkins, South Carolina. We grew up on the lower middle class to low class side of things. When did you know, based upon the things that were treats growing up, when did you know that your family just didn't have as much money? Because I know when it was for me. It was a drink out of the drink machine. We never got a drink out of the drink machine. And I didn't, when other kids would do that every day, I was like, oh my gosh, this is wild. This is a very
Like
big
the
deal
vending
for me.
machine?
The vending machine, yeah.
Yeah.
That was what it was for me.
75 cents.
Yeah.
For a can.
So in elementary school, there were 3 things that would make you really cool. And it was if you had braces, if you had a cast, or if you moved. And
You had a good weekend if you came in with a cast.
Yeah.
you're like, oh my God, everybody gets to
And
sign
your
it.
family
And stuff.
couldn't afford casts. You broke your arm and just came in with it dangling.
You
right?
were like this.
That's why my arm is just L-shaped at any given time. No, we moved, and I remember going to school, and I was like, "Oh, I'm lit. Let's go tell everybody that I'm moving." And I was like, "Guys, we're moving." And they were like, "Where are you moving to?" And I was like, "No. They're going to take the single wide and roll it out, and then they're going to bring in 2 parts of the double wide and set it down." And they were like, "You're not moving. You're poor." And I was like,
I'm poor moving.
Yeah.
You got me. So I stayed at the same address my entire childhood, but we did move. So I think that was the moment where I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I don't think I like to tell people we moved into a 2-story house. They just put the stories side by side.
2
So
stories.
I think that was mine.
2 unilateral stories.
Before we get too far away from the movie, staying in the conversation of finance, I'm a little surprised and worried that nobody here brought up the box of receipts as a means of keeping your finances. Because it makes me finances. That's how you know that you moved up in the world.
That's
You
right.
stop saying finance and you say finance. just to be a jerk.
I bet you don't even say Italian food anymore, do you?
You've changed.
When I get an Italian hoagie, that's when I call it. The fact that you guys didn't call that out makes me a little nervous about y'all's business.
Yeah.
But was that a red flag to anybody else?
We just have so many shoeboxes around here. We're not really worried about.
And it's also, we did bring it up earlier and say that they were chronological.
They were.
So there's that.
Credit for that.
So credit to that. But I mean, for a Hallmark movie,
Producer Aaron, can we get you up there to open the mailbox and see if receipts fall out of that North Pole Express mail in the front? Because I'm just concerned at this point.
There is a reason why it's no longer on the pole. It got so heavy, it just kind of fell off. So we just set it there. We figured this would be better for the future.
Ridiculous.
Sure. We did it.
Yeah, we
sure
did.
We did it. Justin, tell the people whatever you want to tell them right
Here's
now.
your time.
If you guys want to find me, just look in your hearts.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff.
If you want to find me on social media, it's Justin Kirkland 4. And if you're reading something and you're like, wow, I think that's well written, scroll up to the top. My name might be part on it. It might not be, but
might be part on it. Might be part on it.
It might be part on it. So who knows? No, I'm grateful to be back here with you jokesters. So thanks for having me.
And then whenever Yellowstone, the final season,
of course,
right.
We never did season 4, which is weird. You can listen to our show and listen to the first half of 5 and listen to seasons 1, 2, and 3, but not 4. So you keep that in mind.
That was intentional. Of course.
No. We talked through. That was strategy.
Yeah.
Strategy is what it was.
Honestly, I'm down. I'm down for it. I want recognition, and perhaps consistency was the missing component here. That's on me. But I do want recognition that we called this. Before Costner rolled out of the Yellowstone lane, we said John Dutton must die.
That's right.
They saw
to be fair,
they saw it. They talked about it in the writer's room. They said, have you seen this?
You seen these guys?
They saw the out.
Justin is also being more than kind. Justin came up with that title. It was not
such a great title.
Justin came up with that title, and it's fantastic. And also, it was right. And I listen. Yeah. He had to die, and now we know he's dead. We pretty much know he's dead.
Yeah.
So.
I shot him.
Wow. How about that?
Bye.
We'll be those sirens again.
We'll be back tomorrow with another one. Justin, we'll see you next year. Until then, we're the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast is produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.